Hey everybody, it's March 15th. That means it is exactly 1 year now that I have been on HRT officially. Yeah, it took me like 6 months or so to find a doctor that state insurance would cover that was decently close by to me. And it took me like another month after I had to get blood work and everything so he knew what dosage to put me on for me to actually get put on it. So it took me about half of a year just to get put on HRT in the first place. It's not exactly easy to have done, even in states that are more supportive legal wise of transitioning. I know I don't exactly look my best for the day. But it is what it is. I do like my eyeshadow effect a little bit. That's probably my favorite way to rock it is with the whole, you know, purple type look. Not the best lighting in the world, but it is what it is. I work with what I got. So anyway, part one of my video that I made like the night before last night actually got cut off right in the middle of the video because my freaking phone died on me in the middle of the video. I was just talking about how I was going through my transition alone, other than direct family, obviously, that I live with, and a couple of close friends here and there that I talk to whenever I get a chance. But yeah, I have gone through it being single and everything, and I have wanted a partner by my side through it all. That's the one void I still feel like I have missing in my life. I do love the fact that even though I deal with a lot of discrimination and everything, I don't have to hide behind some fake role that was preset for me before I ever even formed a personality. And I don't have to rock some style that just isn't me, and I could just be my flamboyant self without just straight being called gay, even though people still tend to assume that I'm just gay or something. And the ironic part is I am primarily into females. I mean, I'm not going to say I've never messed with a guy or nothing, or that I never would if we clicked right. But I am primarily into females as far as attraction. So, I don't know. It's just a lot of people don't understand that sexual identity and sexual orientation are two completely different things. We're talking apples and oranges here. Two completely different topics, and a lot of people get them topics mixed up, and that's common confusion in society. Me, at the end of the day, I realize that I'll never be the real thing, and I've said this in past videos, but I do want to get as scientifically close as possible and at least be able to pass publicly and be treated like I'm a real female and everything. I think that would go a lot easier for a lot of people transitioning that really want that lifestyle for themselves. Like, if society only just treated us like any other average male, female, whatever we identify as, walking down the street, then our lives would be exponentially easier. Suicide rates of trans people would probably plummet. Suicide attempt rates would plummet. Murder rates would plummet. And the world would be a lot better in that whole one aspect. I mean, not saying that that's going to cure all the world's problems to treat trans people better. Obviously, the world's messed up in a lot of other ways. But it would definitely be a good start to, like, having us all unite in diversity of cultures and ways and everything. We need to stop treating, certain people just because they look different like they're basically a circus act. And I literally have been called that in the past. And it hurts so much to be called that. Just walking into a store, some person was like, "Oh, it looks like the circus is in town." And it's like, I've realized how I look to some people, but this is just me at the end of the day. I'm not putting this front on for someone no more. When I came out, I made that vow to myself. I'm never going to be fake about anything again. I don't care what cost, and I have stuck to it ever since. And I'm going to stick to it because that's a vow I made to myself, not anybody else. It's a vow I made to myself. Because when you've had to spend your whole life shut in, being like someone that you're not just to make everyone else happy, and you still didn't make them people that happy anyway, you get sick of it real fast, and it's just it's a very hard thing to explain. I could explain it all day, but it's one of the kind of things, unless you actually lived it, you'll never understand 100% of it. But I believe if people just treated me or any trans person like the person that we identify as, then it would break down that barrier. And, like for example, I mean, I still, like, even by my own family members, they slip up and call me he here and there or something like that, or call me by my old name here and there. And then they immediately correct themselves, which I realize they're trying to do. But they don't realize, to me, it kind of makes the subject 10 times more awkward than it already was, is them slipping out in the first place when they have to correct themselves. I'd rather just pretend they didn't even say that because I know they don't mean it. I'm not one of them kind of trans people that is going to ride somebody about using the wrong pronouns if I realize it was completely by accident. Like, the only people that I get on for that are the ones that say it to be intentionally a douchebag about it. Like, that they intentionally want to be brutal with their words and just hurtful. They're the ones that I get on. I realize people are going to slip out. This is just, they're used to seeing me this one way and talking to me this one way for 30 some years. And then, I mean, it may be new news to them, but it's old news to me. But I still have to keep that mentality that it is still indeed not that old news to them. Like, they didn't know this. I held this in very well. No one saw it coming. I haven't met one person in my life yet who said, oh, I totally saw this coming. Other than a couple of people I've had talks with about this over the years in private, to where I said that I was struggling with this in private and everything. But yeah, I mean, I would prefer people just didn't even try and correct themselves. It's like, just pretend you didn't even slip out, Like, people don't realize some subjects that you would never think are a touchy subject to a trans person actually are. And I see how that mistake can be commonly made, because any regular person wouldn't get offended by these things, but trans people do. And then sometimes regular people want to go the extra mile to make sure they don't accidentally offend trans people, because some of them take it to heart when they accidentally slip out. But me, I'm much more down to earth, and anybody that knows me should know that. Like, why else would I put my whole life on blast? Just to teach people more about how things go in an average trans person's life, and like the general culture of it, and to try and help people who might be in a similar predicament. And like, I mean, why else would I do that? Because like, I truly do care about what happens to not just myself, but anybody else. Like, nobody's more special than anybody else, in my opinion. We're all human beings. We all have souls. We all have weak spots. And we all get hurt in different ways than others. Like, the best way to approach someone, like, I've even had people come up to me and say, oh, is the word he, she offensive? Actually, not realizing that it's a very offensive word. And they were just, like, in their 40s, and they're like, yeah, is that offensive? And I said, yes, never use that term with anybody else. Like, I'm the perfect person to ask this, because I wouldn't bug out on them just for saying that word, but many people out there would never let them hear the end of it. So, yeah, these are all things that I've noticed in the last year of my life since living this way full time. And I wouldn't take living this way back for anything. The way I see it, I'm still blossoming into the person I was meant to be all along. Like, I'll never biologically 100% be the real thing, but I want to get as close to the real thing as possible. More importantly, I want society and people around me to all look at me like I'm the real thing and treat me like that. That's all. Like, don't even bring the subject of trans up unless I bring it up. I'd rather not even talk about it half the time. I only talk about so much on here because, like I said, I'm trying to help people. And many people out there who watch this channel don't know my personal life. don't know, like, my personal background and everything. And my kids, like, they are so accepting of my transition. I am so proud of them for that. I cannot say that enough, because I must have hit the genetic lottery with these two boys. They are such smart, loving boys, and they're very defensive of me. They're very open minded, and I couldn't be any more proud. Like, I love them boys to the end of this earth and back. Um, a lot of parents, their kids just basically want to disown them if they come out because they're embarrassed or something. My kids, like, they've had their moments where they've acted like they felt kind of awkward talking about certain things. That's why I don't get too far into this subject. I only tell them the bare minimum because they are only 7 and 9, about to be 8 and 10 this year at the end of the day. So I gotta realize that their maturity level is not that of an adult, and I shouldn't try and force them to grow up too soon. Like, and I definitely would never push my lifestyle on them because I don't see them ever coming out as trans or anything like that in their lifetime. I just don't see that about them. If they ever did, God knows I would accept it, but I don't see that happening, and I wouldn't wish being trans on my worst enemy unless that was the lifestyle that they really felt they needed to pursue. Like with me, where I was damn near about to kill myself unless I got to start living as myself. It was like one or the other had to happen. And I'm glad that I chose the right path because, like, even though I'm sort of stuck right now where I'm at, just simply being on HRT, having to shave like 2 or 3 times a day with my electric shaver on my face and everything else. Like, I still have a nice rockin' wardrobe. I got like nice cosmetics and stuff. A lot of it has been gifted to me by good people. Like, I've met a lot of good people when I was an inpatient for addiction and everything, but just by coincidence, because I was housing with the girls, it was my first experience getting to know what it was like to live like in a basic dorm setting, I guess you could say, among all other females. And like most of them, I'd say 9 out of 10 of them would treat me as if I was every bit as much a female as they are. And it felt truly good. Like, I mean, you see all these people make posts like day number whatever of girlhood. I wouldn't say girlhood. I think a lot of people use the term girl instead of woman because they never got to be a girl, and they're trying to like make up for lost time in their head. Like me, when I'm getting to like have a girl put my makeup on and like, get a little makeover action and everything, or like, exchange clothes and stuff like that, just basic stuff. It's like I'm making up for all that lost time I never got to live as a kid, and it feels truly good inside. And I don't even think that they realize how much it means to me. Still feels awkward when I see them get changed in front of me. That's why I always look in the other direction, just because I don't want to ever offend somebody and make them mistake my motives and think that I'm just, living this lifestyle just to get in closer with the girls. No, I've never had trouble dating before. This is actually the most trouble I've had dating because there's so many people out there that have a fetish for trans people, and I'm not a fetish. I'm a human being. I have a good heart, and I want to be wanted for that. They could be attracted to me, whatever, on top of it, but I want that to be the number one reason someone wants me. Because otherwise, I'm not that interested. I'm sorry, but, I can get a booty call from basically anybody. I've had men and women hitting on me left and right through this last year, but it's always for the wrong reasons. Because, like, they never even take a minute to get to know me. They just immediately take a glance at me, and they just want to start talking to me and stuff. Like, and get it going, get the ball rolling. And I know exactly where they're coming from because I know how to think like a man or a woman at this point. And whether it's a man or a woman that's hitting on me, I don't want to get with someone for all the wrong reasons all over again. I've made that mistake too much in my life, and that's why I've been treading so carefully. But yeah, these are all changes I've noticed over the last year. I mean, God knows I've been hit on more times in the last year than probably the last, like, just since I was a teenager to now combined. It's crazy, like, how many people really just have a thing for trans people. I never saw that coming. It's a weird side effect. It's like one extreme or the other. People either really hate us or they really are into us. But either way, I would like to live at that happy medium where I'm just treated just like anybody else, because at the end of the day, I'm no better and no worse than anybody else. And that's what people just need to realize. Like, I'm nothing special. I mean, I don't have much. Like, I just have, I got a new bed and everything. Finally don't have my futon no more. But other than that, like, I don't have, like, I have a license, just no car. And my collectible business, like, I haven't really been doing much with that lately because I've been dealing with so many other issues, and hopefully I'll pick that back up, especially when the warmer season comes, which is coming up soon. That's usually when I make my most business. I work at the flea market and everything. Can't wait to get back to that. But yeah, I don't know what else I've noticed in the last year that's worth mentioning. Just definitely a lot of like crazy stuff. It's like the whole game has changed. I'm treated like a completely different person. The person I was a couple years ago versus the person I am now seems like a completely different person. It seems like I'm referring to someone else altogether. Like, I don't look the same. I don't think the same. Like, I don't deal with the same treatment from others. Even though people are generally nice to me for the most part, I'd say 90% or more are always nice to me because I try and not give a reason for them not to be. So the only people who tend to hate on me are the hardcore, really committed bigot types. I've even, at the inpatient place I was at, one of them even was sweet enough to hook me up with this eyeshadow in the first place. I don't know if I mentioned that. It was a worker there. Like, I tend to get along with everyone because I have a very good heart. I'm always looking out for my best concern and the concern of those that I feel deserve to be looked after. Like, I can never just stand by and watch something bad happen to a good person. And, like, if there's something I could do to offer any assistance in any way to someone who's struggling and deserves the help, of course, I'm going to do what I can. That's just in my nature. That's how I was raised from day one. And, I don't know what else I could talk about, really. I just wanted to wrap up my 1 year on HRT video, especially because it's March 15th, and that makes it exactly 1 year because I was put on estradiol and I was already on testosterone blockers on March 15th of last year after I had my doctor's appointment and my blood work came back. He knew what dosage to put me on, and I chose the pill version. So I take pills every day, estradiol pills. And I don't know, it's like, it's strange because after a couple months of being on it, I ain't gonna lie, at first, them first couple of months were pretty rough with my mood swings and stuff. It was like constant PMS or something. It was weird. It was, I guess my hormones had to stabilize, but after it did, it felt like that one part of my brain that didn't make sense actually finally clicked into place. And like, I'm so thankful for that because I feel like, in a way, coming out and also being on HRT is part of the reason I'm still here now. Like, because I had the bravery to do that instead of take the coward's way out. And I hope and I pray that someone else out there who might be struggling with depression and be fearing taking their, I mean, not fearing taking their lives, but considering taking their life, that they'll listen to this and know that there is a better way. It's worth at least trying out before taking such an extreme measure. And don't let what one cruel person says to you be the downfall of you, because then they automatically win. Anytime someone's thrown me out of a business, called me some horrible name, like, just actually gotten physical with me, whatever. I mean, it hurt at the time, physically or emotionally or both. And especially because my kids witnessed some of these events and they would be upset over it. But I just picked myself up and kept going. And I kept my smile on and I kept being who I am, because at the end of the day, I deserve that much. If they can be who they are, I could be who I am, because at least I could say I am who I am without doing anything to hurt anybody, emotionally or physically, and not doing anything to hurt myself in any way. If anything, I'm doing things to make my life better. Like, because my body and my brain don't match, as I mentioned in part 1 of the video. That scientific research they've done on trans people's brains after they passed away. People that have struggled with this their whole life. And yes, I mean, that's basically like what it is. I mean, what can you do in a situation like that? All you could do is live as the person that you feel you truly are. And it means the world to me that so many people have accepted me. I've made like a lot of new online friends and given a lot of good advice to people that were struggling over last year, and it makes me feel like I'm hopefully making a difference in other people's lives along with my own, because I'm not the only one that's going through this struggle. I'm far from it. I'm one of the few that has the courage and the bravery to keep doing what I'm doing and not let some bigot talk me into detransitioning just to fit in with society or something like that. I would never detransition. Screw that. I would never go back to playing that role. I would rather die. And I will put that on record right now. Like, not saying that I want to kill myself, because I'm not considering detransitioning, but I think that's their ultimate goal, to like, you know, and they act like detransitioning is such a big major thing, but it's like 1% or so of trans people actually detransition. It's a very small percentage. And it's because so many people are starting out so young nowadays without really doing research, talking to people the right way, like doctors, therapists, etc. Talking to people that live that lifestyle and really taking time to think things over. They just see it on the media or something and think it's like a cool fad to get into or something. And it's far from it. It's not a fad. This is a lifestyle you'd be taking on. A completely different lifestyle from anything you've known. And you'll never 100% be treated normal ever again. Not normal as a male or as a female. Like, because people are always just going to see you as trans. Like, even if they don't say it out loud, that's what's going to be going through their mind. It's just how, that's human nature, and I don't blame them for that. As long as people are respectful and accepting. That's all I ever ask. And I don't feel like that's much to ask of anybody. So yeah, it's definitely been an adventure for this last year. I look forward to many more adventures, and hopefully it'll only keep getting better, because it's already been getting better in a lot of ways. And like I said, anybody that wants advice, wants to talk about things, is going through things, I'm always willing to talk, either in private messages or in public comments, whatever. I'm always willing to talk. I take mental health more seriously than you know, because too many people out there are trying to end their lives, and it shouldn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to be that way, I should say. It just straight up doesn't. If society would just learn to breed people to be more accepting, instead of training them to think this certain preset way that they have to keep correcting themselves and stuff because society has them already like brainwashed from the beginning. But you know what? This is a more recent thing. So we are working towards getting there. And I just want to be one of the faces of change for the positive in the process. Because that's how I was always brought up to be. To fight for those who can't fight for themselves. Fight for what I know is right. And that's exactly what I'm doing every time I make one of these videos. Even if it's just a brief, stupid video, everything I make on this topic is me fighting for what's right. Me standing up for what's right. me standing up for our right to exist without being hated. Because can you imagine just being hated for walking into the room, just for existing as yourself, when you didn't do a damn thing to hurt anybody or nothing or offend anybody? You're offending people just by being you, just by dressing the way you dress. That's just disgusting. Shows how closed-minded some individuals really are. And you know what? I said it 100 times and I'll say it again. I get peace of mind because I know in 50 years from now, there will be a lot more people that think the way I do, and a lot less people that think the way that they do. Hopefully, it'll be outlawed altogether. That, like, if you say something horrible to someone out in public like that, you automatically, like, have to be served a ticket or fine or something like that, or even jail time. Maybe that'll teach them a lesson on, like, how wrong it is, because you're already, like, you might be really sealing someone's fate who has a less strong will than I do. You never know. Like, what you say to someone might make them end themselves that night. They might kill themselves that night. So, like, and 41% worldwide of trans suicide attempts is way too high. That's almost 1 out of 2. And it needs to be brought down somehow. And I think they would significantly be brought down by simple acceptance. Or if you don't like somebody's lifestyle, just don't associate with them. Don't go out your way to ruin their life or make them feel shitty about theirs. Just be mature about it like any adult would. I mean, I ain't asking for everybody to like me. I know everybody isn't gonna like me. I'm sure, but I have plenty of haters watching me right now, wishing that I would shut my ass up. I'm sure the people that like me still wish I would shut my ass up, because my loud Italian, New Jersey mouth never does shut up too often. But it's for all the right reasons. And that's why I speak very loud and passionate about things that I feel passionate about. And this is a very near and dear subject to my heart. Like, my transition and my kids have been all I've been focused on for this last year. I really got nothing else. I got no one else, pretty much. I just thank God that I chose the right path. Because if I had just ended my life instead of actually taking that leap of faith, I would have never gotten to experience any of this. Experience what it was like to be treated like a girl when I was living in the girls' dorm and everything. And, like, I just loved it. The way that, like, I was literally like one of the girls. I was treated just like them amongst that little group. And it was such a great feeling. It was like making up for lost time that I always wished I had as a kid but never could have. And I guess that might be why some people say day whatever of girlhood, even though I don't personally use that phrase. I just say day whatever or month whatever of being on HRT or living full-time trans. I just use different terminology because some people even use that against us, because they'll be like, oh, well, what are they, a predator or something, talking about girls, and especially when it's primarily young girls and guys that watch these things. I've even heard that on some guy's channel. It's like if they can find something to use against us, they will. I've come to realize that too. So I try and choose my words carefully. But at the same time, someone wants to twist my words against me, they're going to. All I could do is speak from the heart and hope for the best for myself and for those like me, and hope to educate those who just don't understand the culture. Anybody ever has questions about that, I'm always willing to answer that too. Oh, and I was asked about my collectible business in a comment for my part 1 video of this. To answer that question, I actually have sold stuff through eBay, but eBay has a lot of charges. Like, they'll charge you for a lot of things, like hidden charges and stuff, to where there's no real point in even selling something unless you're getting a lot of money out of it. So, like, I tend to mostly sell my stuff online through, like, Facebook rummage, local rummage groups, they're called. It's where it's, like, basically yard sale groups and stuff. I don't do like I'll sell stuff either from home or I'll meet someone somewhere. Depends on if I know the person or not. And I even have my own group on Facebook, and they're all based in South Jersey. I'm a member of like 20 groups. And then, of course, I sell my stuff at the flea market. But I would like to graduate to one day having my own little shop and have all my stuff fill that shop. And like, all I would need is the money to get started. But I don't know how soon that'll ever happen. I guess all I could do is take it one step at a time. Because when you don't have a support system, you can't really get anywhere because you sort of live in the middle of nowhere. The closest corner store is a half a mile up the road. I mean, it's hard to find resources when you don't have any. So that's why things have been so slow for me lately. I mean, I keep hoping for some major breakthrough. Maybe one day, like, I don't know, my karma will pay off. I'm always just hoping for that. And that's why I cast nothing but good karma out there, because I really do want to succeed in life. I do love selling collectibles, especially historical collectibles. I sell cosmetics and stuff here and there too. Just anything that I know will sell. Like, I'm really big on selling figures and historical coins. I love reading up on historical coins. I sell cards and stuff like these ones, for example. Like authentic pieces of attire from wrestlers and stuff like that. Look, John Cena, authentic piece of attire. Sell them for like between, I'd say, $10 to $40, depending on who it is, when it's from. And I always sell for less than half book value. So I look up the value of things, and I always try and go under book value so that it's more appealing, because people in New Jersey definitely drive a hard bargain when it comes to negotiating. But I think that's what I love most about the business, negotiating. It's just in my blood. My family have always been negotiating type, especially on my dad's side. And it's something I love to do. And some I love to just generally learn about new stuff, like especially coins, like historical coins and stuff. Like, it's my number one thing. But yeah, I'll end this video at that. I mean, I just wanted to do a little part 2 because my first video was sort of cut off. But yeah, this year has been an adventure, and I appreciate you guys that have been there for the whole time, and even you newcomers to my channel. I hope you all appreciate my content, my advice, my story, anything else you guys think I can add in to maybe, like, you know, anything that really catches your attention more and that I should like touch more on the subject of. Feel free to give me input. I'm always open to suggestions, like, because the way I see it, I do this for you guys more than just myself. Even though it is nice to have a video diary of basically my entire transition. That is what it pretty much started out as me doing, and a way of me coming out too. But now it's become more of a thing that I do for others than myself. And something I take pride in, because me knowing that I might have helped just one person makes me feel pretty damn good about myself. But for now, everybody, the usual. Everybody be safe. I'm going to enjoy the rest of my 1-year anniversary. My younger son's here today, so I'm going to spend some time with him right now. My son Lucas. So everybody be safe, and peace out until next time.